The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton. Growing up, I had a collection of children's books that I would always either want to read or have someone read to me. There was a book in particular that was my favorite book, and still is one of the most memorable books from my childhood, The Little House. Once upon a time, there was a little house way out in the country. She was a pretty little house, and she was strong and well built. The man who built her so well said, "This little house shall never be sold for gold or silver, and she will live to see our great-great-grandchildren's great-great-grandchildren living in her." When I was a child, I loved reading or hearing the story over and over again about the house and everything the little house went through. The copy I have is from when my mother was a little girl. She received the book as a gift one year and has had it ever since. When looking at the book, you can just see all the wear and tear it has had from 2 generations of handling. This just shows how many times this book was picked up and read. Now the little house watched the trucks and automobiles going back and forth to the city. Gasoline stations, roadside stands, and small houses followed the new road. Everyone and everything moved much faster now than before. When reading this book, as a little girl, I was fascinated by the changes in the world that surrounded the house. Now when reading The Little House, as an adult, I could not help but relate to the house. Due to growing up in a military family, I had to move around a lot with my parents. This meant that I had to go to a new school, make new friends, and get accustomed to my new surroundings. At times, this was quite scary. After moving from Texas, where I was born and lived for 8 years, to Maryland to Tennessee, my first big move was coming. I was moving overseas to Seoul, South Korea. Looking back, I was just as scared as the little house was when she had apartment buildings being built all around her. This must be living in the city, thought the little house, and didn't know whether she liked it or not. She missed the fields of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. Looking back, this reminds me of how I felt, especially when I moved to Seoul. I was not sure if I was going to like this big, unfamiliar world, especially since I was not going to be like the majority of the population. Though I grew accustomed to Seoul and grew to appreciate the culture, I still missed my home. When I was 14, my parents and I got to move back to Texas. After 6 years of being away from my home and my friends, I finally got to go back to the place I loved. After being lost in the city and its hustle and bustle, the little house was discovered by a family who were the grandchildren of the original builders, and they knew they had to move her back to the country where she belonged. As the little house settled down on her new foundation, she smiled happily. Once again, she could watch the sun and moon and stars. Once again, she could watch spring and summer and fall and winter come and go. Once again, she was lived in and taken care of.